will continue to trickle in. I know I saw my neighbor leave earlier this morning. She's not here yet. So, and please feel free to sit up here. These are very comfy seats. Nobody can see your legs. It's awesome. If you want to feel more shoes off or anything else. Yes. Thank you for coming today. It's a very special meeting, and I'm very excited about this because we, the last time we had an election, we did this, and it was very eye-opening, and it's a wonderful opportunity for parents to come and hear the candidates speak, and for the candidates to tell us why they are running for this position that all of us truly value as representatives from our schools. So, first of all, thank you for coming. If you have picked up a copy of the minutes, could you please read those? And then we will approve them. This was from the meeting last month, September 23rd.
Andrea? Yeah, or Andrew. I was here and I forgot to sign in. Can that be added?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great. Tracy Dutt.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, at the last meeting. Okay. Yeah.
The last meeting, yeah.
Okay, may we have approval of the minutes?
It's a minor thing, but you might want to say the meeting was adjourned at 11:55 a.m.
Oh,
that's, no, that's perfect. Thank you for that.
Heck out.
Got lots on that day.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes, Judy Hart. Second. Thank you. Old business. Angie is our recording secretary, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the Remind 101 app. If you haven't used it, how many people did use it last month? Happy, did you get my text?
Oh, no.
Did anybody get my stuff? Awesome. Okay, so Angie's going to tell you how you can sign up for it for meeting reminders. And I don't send any junk, trust me. I don't have time.
So what it is, a Remind is an email app that you sign up for, and then when we can send you a message, and some of you may have, your children may be using it in class. So it's really simple. You text the message at PCCS PAR, that's the PAR is short for parent, and to the number 81010. And the 81010 number for Remind is their Remind number. So later on, if your students are using it now, if they get to high school, and middle school's using it, that's the same number you use all the time. If I have picture instructions out by the front, if you want, if you need extra assistance with that, and also online at the remind.com, they also have additional assistance on signing up. And you can always ask me too. So it's just at PCCS PAR to the number 81010.
Yeah. Are we supposed to be getting extra information on the app itself?
The app will be like reminders like, hey, we're gonna have a meeting, or we can send the minutes out that way. It's just another way to keep in contact.
Well, I'm getting the text, but when I go to the app, it asks me for the classroom code.
That the classroom would be the at PCCS.
Oh, that is the classroom code. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. New business, I have 2 items for new business. One is that Dr. Hughes is organizing a small group study to look at school start times. And if that is something you are interested in, sitting on a panel, please, and I included Dr. Hughes's email address. Send Dr. Hughes an email, so it'll be parents and administrators and teachers, and take a look at start school times. So send him an email, let him know. I know he is in the process of organizing that right now. Okay, and the second thing is, next month, November 18th meeting has been changed. It will be November 16th, which is a Wednesday. We are going to have a tour of Liberty James Hunt at Liberty Middle School. Will be taking us around the new school. And then we will be going to the Rock Cafe. And it is just, if you have not been there, I highly, highly recommend you come. And even if you cannot make the tour, come to the Rock Cafe. The children, or the students, do everything. They take your orders, they check you out, they make all of the food. It is just a phenomenal experience, and it's just delicious. But you do need to let me know you're coming so I can let them know how much food you prepare for. At the very bottom of your agenda, there is a sign-up genius. It's the HTTP, the RSVP, the tiny URL. They shrunk down that big sign-up Genius URL. So if you go on there and do the sign up Genius, you can sign up for both the tour and the lunch, or just the tour, whichever you'd like to do. So any questions about that? Okay. Pardon me? Oh, attendance. We're going to take attendance. That's a good idea. I skipped that one. Okay, Bentley, Bird, here. Dotson, here. Erickson, Barron, Field, Gallimore, here. Hoban, Hulsey, here. Isbister, here. Miller, here. Smith, here. Tonda, here. Workman, here. Discovery, here. East, Liberty, Pioneer, here. West, here. Canton, here. Plymouth, here. Salem, here. Starkweather, and Tinker. Thank you. Thank you very much. So today we're going to hear from the candidates who are running for school board. Oh, it is on. And this is also videotaped, just so you know. If you, we will put the link on that. Well, I'll send it out in the Remind 101 if you want to share this with anybody. Share with them what you heard today. So we are having this videotaped. And each candidate will have 5 minutes. If they don't use their entire 5 minutes and want to open it up to questions, that's entirely up to them. It is your 5 minutes to present yourselves and why you would be the best candidate for school board here at PCCS. So I am going to call up our first candidate, and I'm going to take a stab at your name. Gurunath, are you here today? He's not here. He's supposed to be here. Okay, well, we'll skip you. I know that Doug Brooks is here today, so Mr. Brooks, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us why you are running. Right, you can come right up to the podium. The microphone is on.
Okay. Hey, my name is Doug Brooks.
If you want to turn that podium to face the that's
sure.
Yeah, turning it around is a great idea. That's even better.
Will that still be picked up by the camera?
Yep. He says yes.
Okay. Hey, my name is Doug Brooks. I've been a resident of Canton for 24 years. In 1999, I got married to my wife, Margaret, and in 2003, we went over to Russia and adopted a little girl named Irina, and now she's 14 years old in 9th grade at Plymouth High. During my 40-year career working as an IT and customer service professional who currently provides service for Ford Motor Company, I've learned how to be a team player and use my problem-solving skills. Through my work, I've developed cooperative work environments and to find solutions to complex issues. These skills have also been valuable to me as an elected secretary, treasurer, vice president, and president of one of Ford's clubs. I decided to run for the board because there are 3 members leaving at the end of the year, and I thought it was a perfect opportunity to do something for my community in a more meaningful way. I've always talked about how great Plymouth Canton Community Schools are to my friends and family, and now's the time for me to do the work necessary to keep PCCS a destination district in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. And if we don't have any questions, Patrick, thank you for coming. This is Patrick Kehoe. He's already serving on the school board, and he is running again for a 6-year term.
Hi, as was mentioned, I'm already on the school board right now. I'm the treasurer and was appointed to a position in August of 2015, filling Mark Horvath's seat. I've lived in the community for almost 40 years. I'm a product of Plymouth Canton schools. I went to Byrd, I went to West, I went to Canton. The diversity and capabilities that we had in those schools have really shaped me and have caused me to contribute back to this district. I got involved. I've got 2 kids in the district right now. I've got a 5th grader at Byrd and an 8th grader at East. And I started getting involved in the district and the issues that are facing us in about 3 years ago, when we saw some changes that were happening with the talented and gifted program. And I think that ultimately as a district we worked through those issues, but in attending those meetings, I started to see the challenges and the opportunities that were happening in our district, and so I started attending more and more of those meetings. And I was one of those regular fixtures here, coming up to the microphone and complaining or advocating about different things, as many of you in the audience have also been. And so when the opportunity was there to serve in August last year, I jumped at that chance. My job had been very complicated over the last year. The division that I had was sold to another company, and I was heavily involved in that process. So I actually missed a few meetings and had some real concerns about whether I could make the commitment. My job has changed in my new process, and so I'm not traveling. I was traveling like 75 or 80% of the time. That made it very tough to actually attend every school board meeting. There were times when I would fly across the country for a meeting, fly back for a school board meeting, and then fly back again to support things. Luckily, I'm not having to do that anymore. I see, right now I'm running for the 4-year seat, and I'm unopposed. So I'm here in front of you not because I need your votes. Hopefully, if my wife votes for me, I'll get in. But the point is that I'm here because there's a lot of really important issues that are affecting us in public education right now, and I wanted to share that information and have those conversations. I think we have one of the best districts in the state, but we're not funded to be really successful in what we're doing. One of the biggest challenges that we have is that we've got one of the lowest per pupil foundation allowances, and that we don't have the proper support for funding of education in Lansing right now. So there isn't things that are being done to support our district in the same way that our surrounding districts are. Both Livonia and Northville get almost $800 more a year in foundation allowances than we do, and yet we have the same taxed rate. At one point, they were hold harmless districts, so they were given an opportunity to leverage additional mills onto their community to support that process. Plymouth Canton never selected that opportunity because we've always been very frugal with how we manage our finances. 5 years ago, Northville and Livonia were removed from the hold harmless process, and they were essentially brought up to the state maximum from a foundation level. I think that's fantastic for them. It's a great thing. But when we look at the things that are happening around public education, the adequacy study that the state of Michigan did showed that we're not funding our schools at the level that we need to support our teachers, to provide the best educational outcomes, to support the programs and the work that we're doing. This district, as I've watched our budgeting process, we've had to make incredibly tough choices about what we're going to do to make sure that we support our kids and support our teachers. We had to increase the class size last year because there weren't really better options. We've taken the low-hanging fruit around what we do in taking budget costs or taking costs out of the district in the process. I'm not saying that there isn't still opportunities to get things, but they're not going to be big improvements. Sure, we could get rid of transportation or completely, or get rid of athletics, which could result in substantial savings. But those are the things that make this district important and provide equity for all of our students and give people opportunities. And I don't want to see us do those things. So one of the most important things that we can do as a community and as a district is to support the Wayne-RESA Regional Enhancement Village. If you guys are familiar with that, that is essentially a county-wide process at the intermediate school district where we have some measure of local control to add additional funds into our district. It'll be a 2 mil increase, and it would provide $385 per pupil. That's almost $7 million for our district. If you look at the cost and the changes that we had to make last year, we had to find a way to save $2 million. Getting nearly $7 million allows us to bring back our class size, allows us to take a look at the long list of programs and things that we wanted to do to enhance the classroom experience. You know, I looked at the budget cycles and the process, and there was always 3 or 4 categories of things. Things that we had to do because we were legally mandated to do, things that we had to do because it was part of our charter and part of our messaging, things that we wanted to do to expand our offerings. And those things in that last category, those things always were below the cut line. We never had a chance to do those kinds of things like providing differentiation back into the classroom or to expanding the offerings and the capabilities that we have for students. With the kind of money that we could get from the Regional Enhancement Village, that would give us a chance to do some of those programs, to reduce class size, to do other things. I'm not stating what is actually going to happen. That'll be a decision that's made between the administration, the school board as a whole, and with input from the community and the other stakeholders.
So Patrick, what would be, your time is up, but what would be your, what would be your number 1 priority if the Wayne RESA, just real quick in a very...
So my first number 1 priority is class size. We made a choice that we had to increase class size, and it's not what we want to do. So it is the first thing that I would recommend as a board member to bring our class sizes back down.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Somebody walked in at the back. Is that Mr. Vemulakonda? Is that? No. Okay, just making sure. Oh, they do. You would have to go first. So you're up. We've already had 2 speakers. If you want to walk around so you can face the audience, and you have 5 minutes. And thank you for being. If you want to introduce yourself and pronounce your name correctly, that way. I butchered it.
I'm Gurunath Vemulakonda, and apparently there's a North Harvey and South Harvey. So I went to the South Harvey kids. So that explains why I'm 5 minutes late. But thank you for having me here. One of the things that I wanted to say is I wanted to answer 3 questions as you think about why you want to have somebody on the school board. The first is, why do I want to be on the school board? So most importantly, I believe that education is really important. For me, education has opened doors that I thought were not possible when I was growing up as a child in India. I have, between my wife and I, we have 3 master's degrees, so we kind of overachieved there. But the other thing is, the second reason is I have 2 kids in the schools systems right now. And one is in elementary school and the other one is in middle school. So I really want to make sure that the education system that's there is strong for my kids when they grow up. And it's really important for me that I can contribute to that and make the education system strong. So to quote one of the Indian leaders, Mahatma Gandhi, he said, be the change that you want to see in the world. So if I wanted to see a big change in the educational system, I'd rather be a part of the educational system and try to make that happen instead of sitting by the side and complain that, you know, things are not going that well. I'd like to see a better education system. So that's the one, why am I wanting to be on the board? The second thing is, what are my past experiences that make me qualified to be here and stand in front of you and say that, yes, I should be on this board. So the things that I can point out to is my work experience. I'm an engineer by training, which means that I can get into the details and jump in, roll up my sleeves, and start working on the details. The second thing is I have a business degree, and I can actually take a step back and look at the big picture as well. In my current job at Ford Motor Company, I'm an advanced rulemaking and strategy technical expert, which means I have to look at the future trends in the industry and see how technologies like driver assistance, collision avoidance, automated vehicles can influence the transportation industry, which means that I have to look at the big picture quite a bit. And seeing here the educational system, things are changing significantly. You have online education, you have charter schools, there are so many trends that are coming along, which are significantly going to change the face of the education in the future. The second thing is my nonprofit experience. I have been part of several nonprofits, over 3 nonprofits, in different roles as a secretary, as a treasurer, and even as the board president. And these nonprofits have varied in size from budgets of several tens of thousands of dollars to several hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the third thing is my teaching experience. On Saturday mornings, I volunteer as a middle school speech and debate coach. And I just signed up as a robotics coach for my elementary school kids. So it's a big challenge. And I understand a little bit how the teachers can experience these kids in school. And how am I going to approach tackling issues that are going to be faced by the board? That's the third question I want to answer. So I recognize that there are several challenges that are in front of the board. And no one person can solve it all alone by themselves. We have to work together and solve that. I believe there are three things a board should do. One is creating a compelling and inspiring vision. The second thing is communicating that vision and engaging all the stakeholders. And the third thing is making sure that the vision is executed by oversight of the school superintendent, making sure that the goals and objectives are aligned to the vision that is provided. So I would like to focus on student achievement, long-term sustainability, and operational metrics. So the board, I think, should benchmark successful schools, not only within the country, not only within the county, but within the whole country, and see what works really well, and incorporate those aspects. So I think you also wanted me to address RESA.
Oh, the one question I did put in the email to everybody was, what would be your first priority if the Wayne RESA millage were to pass?
Yep. So to address that specific question,
or whether you were for it.
Yeah,
I shouldn't put that in here.
Yeah. So definitely the RESA millage is going to be beneficial for the school system, and I think it's important that we pass it. But keep in mind that it's only going to fix part of the problem. There's two things. One is the per student funding, and then there is the number of students in the system. So the per student funding, it might be improved by passing the RESA millage. It'll give us 385 students. But we also have to tackle the loss of the students, if at all that's happening, right? So those are the things I need. If we get the funding, I think we should be focused on efforts that will really influence our students. So the student outcomes is the number one thing which we should be focusing on. Whether it is reducing the class size so the teachers can really focus on teaching, and whether it is trying to do some of these opportunities, providing the opportunities for all the school students to reach their highest potential. So whatever focus is there, I believe that any money that's being added, that's provided by the taxpayers, should be to the outcome of the school students, and thereby by doing that, automatically the school rankings would improve, and bringing up the school rankings would make sure that the other people are coming into our district. The taxpayers that are paying the money feel that there's a solid return on their investment. So by focusing on that, I think it will address a lot of the other surrounding issues.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. I know you have to leave us, but we appreciate you being here today. Our next candidate is Patti McCoin.
I'm Patti McCoin. I'm running for one of the 6-year seats. There are 3 up for election. The current board members are not running for re-election for any of those seats. I've lived in this community for over 25 years. I realized that it's much more than that because my oldest child is 26 and she was born here. My children attended schools from kindergarten through high school graduation here. They went to Smith, then they went to West, and then they both graduated from Salem. And also, thank you for having me. It's been a long time since I've been to parent council, though I did really enjoy it because there's always so much information you get from these meetings. So I appreciate the chance to be up here in front of you to talk about why I feel I'm like the best candidate for the school board. So when my kids were in school, I was an active parent volunteer. I did PFO boards, I did fundraisers, I did Girl Scouts. As I got older, of course, like most parents, when they get into high school, the activities are so specialized that you spend most of your time with whatever your children are involved in. So my daughter chose marching band and color guard. So I spent a lot of time with that. I was sewing mom for color guard. And she also did winter guard, so I've chaperoned band trips. I went to band camp more than once, went to nationals with them, and my daughter has still continued with color guard. She went through college for 4 years and did it in college, and now she instructs guards for very little money. But I did spend last break making flags and costumes for her because her group didn't have money to buy them, and she didn't have parents that would sew them. So it has been the gift that kept on giving. However, it kept her out of trouble in high school, and she was so much more organized. So if your kids are interested in marching band, there are a lot of positives to that. So currently, I'm a community member on the policy subcommittee of the board. We meet monthly. It helps set policy for the district. We don't vote on policies, but we discuss them and they're taken back to the whole board. I joined that committee last summer, and then it's a 2-year commitment for that. I also work with Beloved Community. They do a SAY scholarship every year, and I am on that committee. It is for students who live in this district, and it gives actual money. So we had about 155 students that participated this year. I was a participant in the parent committee, the citizen committee, to pass the $114 million infrastructure and technology bond a couple of years ago. The one that built Liberty Middle School and did the one-to-one devices. So my background, I have a business degree from Eastern, and I worked as an accountant for quite a few years. Then I went back to school and I got a master's degree in education from Wayne State. I currently teach 6th grade math at Detroit Public School. This is a personal business day for me. I did not call in sick. So I see every day the effects of decisions on a classroom. So I know that when you privatize custodial and the buildings are not clean, the teachers are spending time cleaning their own classroom, which means they have less time to prepare. If you have a bus driver who is unfamiliar with the routes, kids who come to school late, they come in, they're nervous, they're late, they're on edge. That affects their entire day. So as a teacher, I see how every decision made affects the actual classroom. Because for years you hear, we don't want to make cuts that affect the classroom. Everything affects the classroom because it's the kids. Everything trickles down. When teachers aren't compensated and other staff aren't compensated and they work another job or they feel nervous, that affects them also. So I feel that my background in the county and then my current education makes me a better candidate. They had asked about the Wayne RESA Millage. Our biggest problems here, I think, we have to decrease our class sizes. That is absolutely vital. You cannot have the authentic instruction you want when you have 35 children in your room. You just cannot facilitate it. The teachers don't have time for the one-on-one that they need, so we absolutely need to decrease our class sizes. So the Wayne RESA Millage, I would advocate to decrease class sizes first. I also think we need to compensate our staff as a whole. Much of the support staff makes very little money, and they do a tremendous job. Having kids gone through this district, the entire staff goes way above all the time. So we really need to look into that. And I also think decreasing class sizes would help with our enrollment numbers. If you are looking for a place for your children, higher class sizes are not going to say, oh, I'd love to go there. No, we need to lower them, and that would probably drive some people back because some of the charter schools have pretty high class sizes. If we can have something lower, I think it would pull people back. So that is probably it. So I'm asking for you to vote for me on November 8th, or if you are voting absentee, on your absentee ballot. And does anybody have any questions?
No, thank you so much, Patty. Thank you for your time today, too. Our next candidate for school board is Patricia Mullen. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. My name is Patricia Mullen. We already had one Patty M, so I had to go by Patricia. Two Patty M's is too much of a good thing. Thank you so much for having me here. 5 years ago, my two boys and I landed in Canton, Michigan in the midst of a great family crisis tsunami, in the midst of the worst economic meltdown in this country. And we had to start a new life. And I'm so grateful to the Plymouth Canton schools, because here we found stability, we found safety, we found great education, and a community truly committed to education. And we've been places where that's not the case. I've lived places where the school board made decisions that completely destroyed the community. And that's very painful to live through. I have two sons, as I said. I'm a single mom. My oldest son is a 2015 graduate of Canton High School. He went to Schoolcraft for a year, which was a great experience for him. And now he's up at Central, making his way. He participated in the Arts Academy and was a theater kid. Younger son is a junior at Canton right now. He just took a chem test. It went okay. Just okay. He is a scholar athlete. He's an elite athlete. He made All-State last year as a swimmer, as a sophomore. And so he's on the wall with Allison Schmidt, planning his picture. He also, as I said, is a scholar athlete, and he's headed for Eagle Scout as well. But as a single mom, there's not a whole lot of time to participate in a lot of extracurricular activities. But younger son is driving now, and that's a good thing. So mom is a little more free. As for me, I have 2 degrees from the University of Georgia. I have a bachelor's and master's in journalism. I have also what I call my almost master's in education. I went back to school to be a teacher and finished that in 2009, just about when the economy collapsed and no one hired teachers anymore. So I'm fully trained as a teacher. I currently teach college. I teach all writing and communication courses. And that gives me some flexibility and freedom, because I don't have to be there all the time, but I do have to go home and grade papers. Let's see, so both of my sons, and I say this with their permission, are twice exceptional. That means they're identified gifted and they're identified with learning disabilities. That means that I have lived in crazy world, where you have a child here at this end outside the bell curve, and at the same time he's at this end outside the bell curve. So I have experience in special ed. I am a special ed mom, and I have been through that. And I'm a special ed advocate, and I have been a special ed teacher, and I worked for a bit as a special ed advocate in the higher ed world. So I am all about the special ed kids. But I'm also a gifted mom. And I would love to be in the middle someday. That would be a glorious experience. I'm the mom of the elite athlete. I'm the mom of the kid running around at the wrong end of the field, getting hit by the ball and chasing butterflies. So I've lived all of that. What I bring to this is a passion for public education, because it is only in our public schools that all of our children get the education that they need, all of them. The elite athlete and the kid running around at the wrong end chasing the butterflies. The gifted kid who's going on to MIT to be the superstar, and the kid who's going to go with me down at MIT to be a mechanic someday. And man, those are awesome kids. So I want to participate. I feel I bring a wealth of experience in education and perspective as a mom and as an educator, and passion for our public school system, which has been under attack for 30 years. Our teachers and our parapros and our custodial workers and our lunch ladies and our crossing guards, they need our respect. They need our support. And I'm someone who speaks out. So I want to speak out, and I want to say, this is great. We need to support this. Patrick and Patty do a great job explaining the budget, so I won't go there. I'll only add that, yes, I am all for the RESA, absolutely. And I agree, class size is the #1 priority, but there are so many priorities. The AP History textbook last year was published in 1996. Bill Clinton had just been elected president. The economics textbook my son is using right now was published in 2000. The collapse hadn't happened. So when you read that textbook, it's like, wait a minute, that's not real anymore, hold on. So there are needs across our district, human, material, all kinds of ways that we need to balance, but always with the perspective, what is best for all of our kids, all of them. And that's where I want to contribute to the school board. Do you have any questions for me? No, really?
Thank you, Patricia. You did a wonderful job. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here today. Our next candidate for school board is Pete Puzzuoli. Thank you for being here today.
I just speak from this point.
You may speak wherever you would like. I don't know if the camera will pick you up.
Turning my back, it's one of those rooms that you're happy.
Let's adjust the camera real quick, and because this is being
I'll use
recorded.
my classroom voice. First of all, I have to say, these are all wonderful people that are running for school board. They absolutely are. There's no salary connected with this. One of the reasons I'm running, maybe one of the main reasons I'm running, is that for 42 years, I worked in the Plymouth County School District. I have the experience that probably no other candidate has in this district. I taught at Central, in Field, in Gallimore. My daughter Angela went to Erickson, East, and Salem. She was a lifelong student. I'm the old man of this race for school board, but I think there might be a little advantage in that, in the fact that a lot of these people have commitments. It's certainly important. They're working in the daytime. My children are grown. I don't know if all the other candidates' children are grown. I think I would have some ability to do some things other than what the other candidates could do because of that. If there's a problem at 10 a.m. and someone needs to call me, I'm pretty much there. I only live a few blocks from the school board here. I did say before that I have an intimate knowledge, I think, of the classroom and of the district. Since 1972, 73, I've been here. I know some of the other candidates have spoken in generalities. I think I know some specifics about this district that maybe some of the other candidates may not be privy to. This is the state of the district as I see it, and I do see some issues that need to be addressed. Carnegie Mellon Institute is highly regarded. A research engine ranked our school district as 13th in the state as far as quality of education. I know we're one of the biggest districts in the state, and I would like that to improve. I think we should be a top 5 district. 13th is not good enough. We have recently made the top 10 of districts in losing students to charter schools. I'm very disappointed in that, and I don't think the district has been aggressive enough in finding out why these students are leaving. I believe the number was 2,209 students have left for charter schools in this district, and that has cost over $16.5 million in state funding, and that really, really must hurt the district's bottom line. I know the district has recently started to take children from other districts. I'm not in favor of that. I don't think it helps our own district, and it damages the neighboring districts. I'm also concerned about the revolving door of hiring and promotions that has been going on at the board office for several years. I think some people have been put in positions of power and importance that they may be lacking the qualifications for that job or the experience. And some of those decisions have really impacted our district, I think, negatively. In the words of Mike Maloney, who is a present board member and departing, he mentioned, quote, that the board has become a cheerleading team for the administration. And that sounds to me like the tail is wagging the dog. The board should be overseeing the actions of the administration. I also believe the board has been quite secretive in making some decisions, and that has caused some of the integrity amongst the public to diminish a bit. I'd like to bring some of that integrity back to the district as a board member. And finally, if elected, I pledge to be a board member that speaks to the interests and benefits of children, parents, and staff. I will use my 42 years of experience in doing so, and I still think I have some passion and energy for this gig. Thank you very much.
Pete, did you want to, Pete, I'm sorry.
Let me get a little sip of water and ask questions.
Yes, if you're gonna ask the same thing, Corrin?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. You can
My
ask.
5 minutes expired?
You have 40 seconds. Go ahead.
You mentioned school choice, which I agree with your sentiments. I think it is not ideal to take kids from.
I think it's a stopgap.
The challenge I see is that, as you heard Patrick say earlier, we cut $2 million from our budget last year as a district. And those school choice students brought in over $1 million, which is the reason we opened the doors for school choice.
I understand there's some advantages to bringing those kids in monetarily, I do.
Okay, I just was curious to hear what.
Yeah, I'm still not in favor of it. I talk to teachers regularly. My career spanned 2 generations of teachers, the ones that were older than me and the ones who were younger than me. And when I talk to some of those people now, it's not the most ideal situation to have a child going to your school that lives 20 miles away.
I certainly agree with that. I just am curious where you would have found that additional revenue that we needed as a district.
Yep, that's what.
Well, I talk to a lot of teachers. I have a lot of friends in the community. I've worked here for 42 years.
In that situation, though, what would you propose to be the cut that would have provided that balanced budget and funding in lieu of doing the school of choice?
Well, I'm not sure of that, but I believe if the district was more aggressive in finding out why we lost so many children to charter schools, over 2,000, that some of those seats would have been filled by kids who already were there. And I think the district has dropped the ball a bit on that and not been aggressive enough in trying to figure out how to get those kids back and maintain the kids we have.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Pete, I'm sorry. We appreciate your time today.
Can I do another question, please?
Real quick, sure.
Okay.
And then this is it.
I'm hoping it's quick.
Can I come back?
She's been to all 3 candidates, speaking of that, so.
You talked about the relationship between the board and administration, and it sounds like you're not satisfied with what
I'm
is
not satisfied with it, and I know many people in the community
Okay.
are not satisfied with that.
Okay, my concern is that it's a matter of public record that you have sued this district for, I believe, some civil rights infractions relating to your employment.
I'm glad you brought that up. I've
I'm
been
not
waiting
done.
for that.
Please let me finish. And so what I'm concerned about is that the relationship you already have with administrators, some of whom are named in your lawsuit, how successful can you be working, for the common good on this? Because we have seen when boards and administration don't get along, and we get gridlock and we get frustration. And so the fact that that lawsuit was so recent, and if people you're going to be working with are named in that suit, I'm really concerned about how you can
Okay,
work
well, first-
successfully with them.
Okay, let's give them an opportunity. to Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yep,
well,
you have
first of all,
couple
that
minutes,
lawsuit
couple
is over. It was resolved. Everyone was satisfied, I'm assuming, in the settlement. That lawsuit may have saved the district a lot of money because of contractual violations that occurred while I was on an approved sick leave. And I'm the type of person, if you knew me personally, you'd say he's a nice guy. I'm not running as the candidate of revenge. I'm running for the future. And I have many, many people in the community that are saying, go Pete, go. I would work as well with people that I had differences with as people that I agree with. So as I said, I look at that entire situation as being settled. Settled means both sides agree to the settlement. And as I say, if we went into the intricacies of it, we would be here probably 3 days. But it was an incident that occurred while I was on sick leave. And I perhaps, and I'm not trying to brag at all, but my standing up to this one particular incident that occurred may have saved the district a lot of other future lawsuits. So I'll look at it and take a positive spin. Is the glass half empty or half full? You can judge for yourself my candidacy. but that's over and I'm looking forward.
Okay, thank you for your time, Pete.
Thank you for asking.
Girish Tiwari, you're going to want to go ahead and correct me when you come up, please. Thank you for being here today.
And you pronounce my name very correct.
Oh.
My name is Girish Tiwari, and I'm running for 2016 school board state position. And the other Indian candidates, like 3 of us are the 3 Indians. And it's kind of like unique when, I mean, people are not even involved in this process of, educational system. But looking into different scenarios which is going on currently, we thought that, okay, let us, make an effort and try to, bring some changes, bring some improvement. That's our prime concern. I'm actually, I have 2 master's degrees, master's in electrical and an MBA. And I worked in Ford Motor Company. I retired from Ford Motor Company in 2000. I was Christian from 2007, 2008 onward. I started my own business. So I turned my professional experience to start doing some business on export and import sides. My wife is a dental hygienist. She's a Catholic. She goes to ULGC and she's one of those ushers. So what I'm trying to say is that we bring a lot of diversity. I follow the Hindu system, she follows the Christian system, and we both live together. We are living, there's no issue. When there is any things to be done at her place, we go to the church. When there is something happens in the Hindu temple, she comes and she joins. So everything is working. And I see the diversity as a very important thing in this whole, our development in life and the school system as well. I mean, here itself you can see that there is so much diversity involved. Diversity I consider as a type of like bouquet of flowers. All different flowers are there and they come out and create a very good impression. So that's one thing, like a rainbow. Not one color can create such a nice impression. There's so much. So that's why as a bigger picture I see to it. In a school system, my 2 kids have graduated from PCCS. Both have done excellent, and both have done good. And I like one time I was like you, going to parents meeting, and we were talking with the teachers. The teachers are over here, they are outstanding. But I talking to some of the teachers in my neighborhood who live around. I feel that they are feeling that they kind of messed up. They can't go beyond what they want to do, or their hands are tied. And they are saying that with the regulation, with the system, what they have, they are not able to do it. So that was another issue which I thought, okay, let me try to make some changes. So that's what I'm into it. Like I said, my wife is a Catholic. She brings school magazines, church magazines, and I read in one of the magazines what the Mother Teresa has said. She's from India. I mean, she was. She said, "Give your best to the world. It may not be enough, but even then, give your best." That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just jump into this race to help the people out with my background in the electrical engineering and the business degree, and to see that we bring out a positive change. The school rankings are going down. Many charter schools are coming up. People are moving out, and that's causing funding problem, and plus other issues, not only funding problem. Why they are moving out? We have to go to the core of the problem. Until unless we know the root cause, what has brought it to this stage, we will not be able to improve it. We have to fix the problem. We have to analyze it, and we have to analyze it in a very taking a big picture. And once people, like, why it is going on? Because there is a lot of competition. Every parents are worried about the kids' future. So they want to take them out, go to the phase, okay, let's try here, whether they can improve, kids' ranking or kids' outcome from here. Outcome is what? I mean, your SAT school, how many people have gone to the college, what they have done there, from there, where they moved. My vision is that, I want to make this school system a top class, institution, where, we should be proud of it, everybody should be proud of it. That yes, the kids from here, they become the showcase for any other school system from here, they go to all the Boeing, they go to all the Ford Motor Company, General Motors, all top positions they reach in the life. And they can only do that if you provide them a nice type of education, good teaching facilities, and support them in their other curricular activities. That is important. Our teachers need to be taken care of. I mean, they should not be grumbling about it. They are the core of improving the system if you want to improve it. Number one. That's my concern is that we need to work with them and see where their problem is, where the issue is. I was told they have not been given raise for so many years. Or whatever has happened, it's not been enough. We need to fix that. We need to have a very generalized thing that, okay, this school gets this much, that school, why this kind of discrimination? One school gets 10,500, kids get 7,500. Why it is different? So that's what, I want to work it out. And we need a strong decision-making process. This will not happen. We have to take some strong steps. And if we just dilly-dally or not just keep the camping out, further down, okay, somebody else will take this decision. It will never improve. We have to do, like when we are into business, we have pros and cons. We have to be both the system, both the sides.
Thank you, Girish.
Thank you.
Your time is up. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I know that.
You were waiting for me.
I was giving a interview to the school board, the school radio. And we kept on talking. I thought it would be done in like 10-15 minutes. And he was a nice guy. He kept on asking questions. And then I finally done. I started my talk. This is 5 minutes.
Oh my God. The art of editing.
This gets me excited. Talk about it.
Yeah, it is exciting. All of us here find it a very exciting topic. Thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you being here. The next two candidates are not here in person, but I have a statement from both of them. One of them is a little longer than the other. The first one is from Mike Scopone. I believe that this is his campaign statement because I don't think this is directed to this meeting, but I will read this. I am a 52-year-old retired father, husband with 3 children currently in the PCCS district. I am not a teacher, an accountant, or a school operations wizard. What I am is a regular parent like you who will listen. We might not agree, but my mind ears are always open. One of the most dangerous phrases these days is, we've always done things that way. Well, if it makes sense, then yes. If not, things always change. We need regular parents on our school board, not people using this as a springboard to further political goals and positions. Too often the parents have felt ignored. As I said, I am not a financial wizard or an expert on running schools. I don't feel those things are required. Common sense is what's important. Example, during the mess that was the closing of Allen Elementary, too many times parents were told by the board, we will get back to you with those numbers. As of 2016, we are still waiting. Communication with parents and teachers, wasting of money for studies and reports. Example, the district survey that included rating bathroom cleanliness. I would have been happy to have done that investigation myself. I'm sorry, I just reading what is written. It's the bus fiasco. That wasn't very coherent. The bus fiasco where students were sitting two abreast in the aisle of the bus. How does this happen? Why did it take a month to correct? This was either bad math or poor route scheduling. It's never acceptable to endanger students. Parents ask for facts, figures, get canned responses like, we will get back to you with those. Searches for supervisors and other ranking positions should be done internally first. Dr. Meissen was a public relations disaster. Did anyone even do a basic Google search on this man? He left a train wreck behind in Wisconsin before he came here. And finally, if you make a mistake, own up to it. Covering up the mistake with more double talk only makes it worse. The public will respect you more. The closing of Allen Elementary comes to mind. Be open, eyes, mind, and ears. I would like to investigate possibilities of somehow increasing teacher wages across the board. Also, what has taken so long to implement BYOD for the Chromebook usage in the schools? I'm sure there are many issues and problems that need to be solved in the district. I promise to do my best to use common sense and logic to help solve them. If elected, I will be counting on your input and support for additional ideas, suggestions to help improve this great school district further. And that was Mike Scopone. And the last one is from Leonardo Savage. He is recovering, he just recovered from surgery. He is a docent at the Botanical Gardens, and he is giving a scheduled tour today of first graders. So he has a very lengthy comment, and he did address the Wayne RESA question as well. First of all, please accept my apologies for being unable to attend today's meeting. As a quality management consultant for over 30 years experience, I have taught people how to install and operate quality systems in various industries. During that time, I have learned that success can only be achieved if there is an exceptional amount of commitment, cooperation, and communication between everyone involved. Plymouth Canton Community Schools currently offer an excellent educational experience with an above-average academic performance. We can only maintain the quality of PCCS in a time of decreasing budget by identifying areas that need to be improved without financial implications, by streamlining processes within the district and restructuring those that are out of date to create a more acceptable environment for continuous improvement. For me, the role of the school board in the district's decision-making process was best explained by the Center of Public Education as follows. Effective school boards commit to a vision of high expectations for students. Effective school boards have strong shared beliefs and values. Effective school boards are accountability driven. Effective school boards have collaborative relationships with staff and the community. Effective school boards are data savvy. They embrace and monitor data. Effective school boards align and sustain resources. Effective school boards lead as a united team with the superintendent. Effective school boards take part in team development and training. The role of the school board in a school reform also cannot be underestimated. With committed and effective leadership, it can result in greater public support and acceptance, stronger cooperation among schools in a school district, plus increased communication and participation of the whole community. I have a child in middle school, and I am running for this position as I want to contribute towards improving the engagement between the Board of Education, teachers, parents, and students for the overall benefit of PCCS by recognizing and responding to their needs and giving them the quality of education that they expect. As I mentioned earlier, this can only come about through commitment, cooperation, and communication. And in answer to the question of the Wayne RESA millage proposal, yes, I am totally behind the Wayne County RESA proposal as it can only benefit the public school districts. We will have some opposition as it does not apply to charter schools. As far as using the funds, PCCS is committed to ensuring that students have a quality education. I would be looking at class size to see if we can make improvements to benefit the students. I'd be examining the quality of teaching to see where improvements need to be made in training and/or hiring. School repairs is another issue. We have to maintain a safe and healthy environment for our students and teachers. I am also committed to introducing and improving new technologies without unduly burdening the financial health of the district. And that again was from Leonardo Savage. I just want to real quickly go back and see, Doug Brooks, if you had anything you wanted to comment on the Wayne RESA, and then we need to move on with our agenda. I know you did not.
Come up.
Yes, you did not get to an opportunity to address that. So just real quick, and maybe if you can, well, you were brief anyway, so I don't have to say it to you.
So I do support the RESA funding, because it's, like everybody else said, it's gonna really add, not enough, but it's gonna be, help in, adding more, possibly more teachers. And the best thing would be to reduce the class size. And that's, I really support that, because then the teachers have more time to work with the kids. And it could reduce a lot of homework that the kids get nowadays. My daughter gets a lot of homework, and so she can spend more time with the teacher in the classroom. So I'm definitely all for RESA.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to give you that opportunity since you did not address it. And I don't know whether this is appropriate to mention or not, but I did send out 3 emails to all of the candidates inviting them to come. And I did have one candidate who did not respond at all. His name is Bharat Malhotra. So just putting that out there, he never responded in any way at all. Are you? Okay. Oh, he's in India. Oh, okay. That explains it. Thank you very much. He probably did not get my email. Perfect. I appreciate that explanation. Okay. And if you do not feel like you're interrupting our meeting, if you get up to leave, that does not insult me at all. So if you have places to go, feel free to go. Because we're going to move on with our agenda. Thank you again, everybody, for coming. We appreciate your time. And it was very important for us to hear from everybody. Our next speaker is Karen. Is it Palgut? Palgut. Okay. And Karen has been with us many times. She is from the PCCS Clothing Bank, one of my favorite places.
I don't want to embarrass Andrea, but when she was a youngin' way of college, I was their next door neighbor to her parents.
I was a stellar person.
she was, a freshman or something.
Did they take
I
a car or
look around
something?
the room and I think, I was on this council for 15 years. And I think I was on the council with some of your mothers. How many of you are not familiar with the clothing bank? Great. So this will be easy. The clothing bank provides free clothing to needy families in our community. And, excuse me, and we rely on donations of gently used, fashionable, as in current fashion, clothing. So I'm here today because we need a little bit of help with clothing, and I've made a list of some things we need. But just to give you a background, children who come to the clothing bank are from needy families, and they have a lot of things going on at home. The last thing they need is to have something else going on at school, like not looking like everyone else. And so we try real hard to provide clothing that is the same clothing that their peers are wearing. So my rule is, if your kids would wear it, if it still fit them, then that's the kind of clothing we want. We don't want this stuff that nobody wants. We will pass it on to someone else who is not as selective as we are. But that's our main concern. And we are located behind Salem, on the west side of Salem High School, in an old classroom that's blocked off from the school. And we're there 3 days a week. And I'm going to go by memory, but what we really need right now are the things on that list, which are girls size 4 to 7, boys size 4 to 7. We always need men's jeans and sweaters and sweatshirts, and women's plus size clothing. This is an opportunity for you to go back to your families at your schools and say, you're going through the clothes winter boots and snow pants and whatnot, if they don't fit, we could really use them. You could also, to be fair, you could also take them to the elementary schools, and the elementary school staff will make use of them as well. But we really need, and we hope to get snow pants and boots for the winter season. Last year, we were kind of lucky. Our stock was down, but it was a mild winter. But I don't think that's what I've heard we're going to do this year. Yes.
Just one question that says we're going to donate Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. If we can't make those times, can we call and make arrangements?
You can call, and usually I'm the person I'll come and pick up stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
And especially if you did a school drive, I would come to your school and pick it up. A lot of times we get calls from scout groups or student council or other student groups. They want to do something. And you can also call and ask us and we'll direct you. We take new socks and new underwear. And a lot of kids don't like to collect socks and underwear, but they might do a bottle drive and buy socks and underwear or whatever. We're pretty flexible in that. I don't always advertise that I'll come to you and pick up your stuff, but if you have stuff, I'll come to you and pick up your stuff. Yes.
Or if we did a school drive, could we arrange for a different day then to?
I would, you just call and I'll take care of that. In fact, it's right now, it's Friday. I'm not usually there Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I do the community relations, and I buy socks and underwear, and I come to your school to pick up your stuff. So, yeah.
Have you made local churches and communities?
Yes, we are. I don't know if you're familiar with the Community Collaborative Group. It's a group of organizations in the community, the Salvation Army, lots and lots of churches, and we're a member of that group. So we all kind of talk to one another. But if you wanted to go to your church and do a drive or something, that would be great.
I'm just saying, that.
Yeah, but we do. We have a connection with those.
Right, that you're donating to. I know many groups are also donating to them, but maybe, they could have been working with you.
Right. Well, like I said, we work with them in a different venue, and if that's what they want to do, then they help us. So the other thing I would mention is cash is always great. And you give it to Gretchen. She's in this building, and the checks are made payable to the EEF with a memo that it should go to the benefit of the clothing bank. I'm sorry, there was another question. Yeah.
Have you ever considered doing a costume drive around Halloween?
How do I explain this? We have had in the past costumes come in, and our experience is, and it's a pretty humbling experience too. When parents come in to the clothing bank, they're looking for shoes and underwear and stuff, and they don't take the costumes. We end up giving the costumes away right before Halloween because I don't think that's on their mind. And as parents, as you and I would say, oh, my kid has to have a Halloween costume, it's not even on their radar. Right now we have, and this is kind of a precedent, but because someone in this building is working on it, we have 10 homeless people coming in next week. These are students in our community who are homeless. We have a huge immigrant population, and they're not all the people whose fathers are executives at Misaki or Gutrag or whatever. These are people who came here for a better life and they're struggling. In fact, if you ever get it to have a spot on your agenda, you might contact the ESL people. You'll be surprised at the diversity of this community and the economic diversity. So yes, it's a fun thing. I mean, it's something I think kids would like to do, but
yeah, I just know that it's an issue, at least at some of the elementary schools, that kids can't wear costumes to school because they can't afford one. So I know I've got a bunch in my basement that I would love to give.
What I would do, I think, is just talk to the school.
Yeah.
And say, maybe, here's some costumes, maybe you want to pass them out. I can tell you most of the people that come to our place.
There are some elementary schools that are doing costume drives.
I know Bert is one of them. There are some that are.
So they probably are doing them for the benefit of the students in their school. Yeah. So, and lastly, I'm sorry, I think I did mention that, the money. So, again, thank you for your consideration. If you have a drive or something, just give me a call or send us an email, and we would really appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much for coming. You know, I keep a bag in my closet, and I keep 2 bags. And I put one bag are my kids' clothes that they look good to me. They don't have anything inappropriate, you know, that my kids would wear if they didn't. And then I have a bag that I don't send to the clothing bank, and I give to the EDF. And so, you know, these are people in our community who need our help, and we forget about it. And you know, many of us are very privileged and lucky, and you know, it could be us. It could be us, and everybody needs help once in a while. And so, thank you so much for everything you do. We really appreciate it. We love the children. And I know you're always looking for volunteers too, right? Yeah. Okay. Our next speaker is Gretchen Ward from the Educational Excellence Foundation.
So yes, I had the privilege of meeting Karen last week, and she gave me a tour of the clothing bank, and I'll tell you, it was so powerful. Not only, to see, I donate my kids' clothes. I have kids that grow up, and I'm going to be done. My daughter and I just went through our closet last night. I have a 6-year-old, and I was explaining to her what the clothing bank does, and she's like, well, Mom, why don't they just go to the store and buy clothes? So it was a great civic lesson that I had with my daughter last night going through her closet. But it really was powerful to see what these people are doing every day, these volunteers, and then looking at their books, because they take reservations on when families can come in to take a look. They're booked. There's a need there. And so I was not aware of maybe the need or the ability that we have and the great work that you do. So thank you for that. And yes, she did say, and she downplayed this, the funding, if you do want to support the clothing bank, they purchase bras and underwear, which are 2 of the neediest things that these families need. So donations can be made to the EEF. It is a fund that we hold, but for those basic supplies that families come in for. And I think it's just wonderful that you do that. So thank you for the work you do. And what a great parent meeting. Oh, Andrew's not even here. Was it something I said? What a great parent meeting, because I loved hearing all of the candidates today. And one message that I heard, obviously we all know, is just funding. Like, how important is that? And that's part of what we do here at the EEF. So for those who aren't familiar with Educational Excellence Foundation, we are a 501c3 that raises money for Plymouth campus schools. We do that in a variety of ways. One way is to help groups like the Clothing Bank through donor-advised funds. Another way that we do that is through our Classroom Enhancement Grant Program, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. But one thing that we don't do is we don't fund operational expenses, because from a foundation standpoint, those types of things aren't sustainable. If we fund a teacher's salary, that doesn't guarantee that we'll have the funding level for it for the next year. So operational expenses aren't something that, unfortunately, we can control. However, we can't control going out to vote and lobbying our legislatures and whatnot. But what we do support are classrooms, teachers, and students. We know that Plymouth Campus Community Schools are one of the best districts in the state, 13th from what I heard today. But our goal is to get us there in the top 3 as well. And so one of the ways that we can do that is to support our teachers with innovative projects that state level funding doesn't allow them to provide anymore. And so what the teachers do is 3 times a year, they have an opportunity to apply for grants through the EEF. Since 2000, we have awarded over $326,000 in classroom enhancement grants to teachers in every school in this district. So we're really proud of that. We just went through our most recent granting cycle, where we had 25 applications of grants from teachers with over $33,000 is what they're asking us to fund this year. And these are innovative projects, everything from one project that we did last year was really cool. It was salmon. We for the science teachers, they were able to buy salmon eggs and aquariums and cameras so that they could raise these salmons from eggs to fish and then to letting them out into a tributary and everything in between. really cool, looking at science, bringing it to life and hands-on experiences. But we also help things with things like after-school tutoring programs. We've supported bridge programs throughout the district. So lots of ways that we can help support the district, which is great. So again, like I said, we just did our classroom enhancement grant cycle. So teachers will be notified from the next couple of weeks of the awesome things that we're able to fund for them that we're really excited. What I'm here today to do is to invite you all to an event that we have coming up, which is our Showcase of Grants. This is an opportunity for us to highlight our teachers in the districts and what they're doing with the funds that we award them every year. So the teachers will be there speaking about the grants that were awarded last year. And it's an open house format. So it's from 5:30 to 7 at the Plymouth Cultural Center on November 10th. And open house meaning you can stop by at any time, stay for 5 minutes, stay the entire time. But it's a mix and mingle to talk to the teachers, speak with them about what they're doing in the classrooms, ask questions, and teachers love it because it really gives them a platform to show the teaching and learning that's happening in the classroom. It's a really exciting event, and it's a great way, again, to just see the work that they're doing at all levels throughout the district. So I'm going to hand out invitations so that everyone has all of the details on that, but I invite you all to attend. It's just a really powerful event, and teachers loved it. One of the feedback that I heard from our last showcase was that teachers loved having a platform to talk to people about what they're doing. They do it with these little people or big people in the park. They do it with them every day, but they don't always get to share it with the community. So this is really a voice for the teachers and a platform for them to share the awesome experiences that are happening in the classroom. It's also a way for the community to see what the EEF does. And I invite anyone who's interested in learning more about the foundation or who is perhaps looking for a way to get involved at the community level to join us as well, because we're always looking for volunteers. We have some board member seats available at this point. So we will have trustees available at the showcase to help answer questions and to share a little bit about the work that we do at EEF and to a deeper level, maybe learn a little bit more about you. And if this is something that you'd be interested in partnering with us to help the work of the foundation, we'd love to have you. So that being said, I'm going to pass out some invitations. Does anyone have any questions?
I do have one thing to say. My daughter was involved in the Salmon Project.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They loved it, so thank you for helping.
Oh, you're so welcome. You know, a cool thing too, they had a salmon cam. So if things were happening, did she use the salmon cam?
Yes, so you got to watch them all the time.
Yeah,
watched them a lot.
Yeah, it was really cool. So lots of, yeah, thank you for sharing that. Anything else? Good. Well, thank you for your time today. I always appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much. No, I did not. Thank you. Okay, well, we're passing those out. Corrin is here to talk some more about the RESA Millage as a parent in the district. Corrin, the floor is yours.
Hi. So I know that Jeremy Hughes was here last month, and I was here as well speaking on, Jeremy can give the perspective of administration and the district. I can give the perspective of parents. I know some of you have sat through, we've presented to almost every staff meeting and PTO meeting in the district. So some of you have heard our spiel at your own local schools. Some of you were here last month. So I don't want to repeat what we talked about last month, but for those of you, we have a full house today. So that's exciting and another way to get this word out. So I will give a quick oversight about the RESA Millage. If you are sitting in the audience and you have heard this question asked over and over again, you have no idea what people are talking about, that is okay. You are probably in the majority. So please don't feel shy to ask questions, because this is the best way that we can get the information out, is really through this grassroots effort. So on November 8th, there will be a ballot item, and it will be labeled Regional Enhancement Millage. You will see it is a gigantic paragraph at the very end of your ballot, and it lists all 33 school districts within Wayne County. And what this millage is a millage to add additional funds to the general operating expenses of our schools. So right now, Plymouth Canton is the lowest funded, has the lowest funded foundation allowance from the state that you could possibly receive from a school district, for a school district. So Plymouth Canton has been operating this way since 1994 as a result of Proposal A, and where we stood as a district in 94 when that position, that constitutional change was made. Something I'd like to mention as a parent is you'll often hear people say, well, we don't need to do things at the local level, especially this ballot proposal is Wayne County. So it is not just Plymouth Canton. So a lot of the naysayers will say, well, let's just do something for Plymouth Canton. In 1994, when Proposal A was passed, Proposal A is not just a law, it is not just some leadership in Lansing, it is a change to our Constitution. In order to revise our Constitution, it takes a 2/3 majority vote, and it is a big deal. So it is not so simple for people to just say, let's change things in Lansing. We've been trying, we will continue to try, but those of you who are familiar with the leadership that we have right now in Lansing and their views of public education, that change is not going to happen in the real short term. So in the short term, something like this Wayne County Enhancement Millage is the only lawful way that we are able to raise money as a district. So that is so important when you hear people say, whether they're for or against this, this is our only shot, you guys. This is it. They, the state put Proposal A into place. They funded all schools at the same level. And they said the only exception to this rule will be if you can pass a regional enhancement millage. So this is it. We are part of Wayne County. And we, as a default, Detroit Public Schools is part of that. Detroit Public Schools will be the biggest beneficiary of this millage. So you'll hear people say, well, I want all of our money to stay locally instead of sending it to Detroit Public Schools. So do we, but we can't. It is against the law. So Plymouth Canton is the 3rd largest recipient of this millage. We will get $6.7 million a year for 6 years. It's a whole lot of money. And if you reference Patrick's discussion earlier about the board having to cut millions of dollars every year, last year we shaved $2 million off of our budget as a school board. So if you can imagine the impact that $6.7 million would have on our students and the classrooms in which they see. So if we were funded like other neighboring districts, we would see $14 million a year more than we do now. If we were funded like Livonia, we would see $34 million more if we were funded like Ann Arbor. So just to give you an idea of how gravely underfunded, we know our student achievement continues to be pretty amazing, but how long can we continue that student achievement when my 3rd grader has 30 kids in his class and we share a librarian at Tonda? So that is exactly why I got involved. I am a parent just like you. I do not have a springboard or a launch pad into any other position. I've got 3 little people in this district, and the funding crisis is going to follow them through their educational career, and that bothers me. Our housing values are directly impacted by our schools. If our schools start to fall out, so do the values of our home. So just some things to consider and to think about. I can strongly urge you to vote yes on November 8th. And it is such a cliche statement, but it is so true in this case. Your vote does count. I promise you. This is a ballot proposal that was brought to the ballot because over 70% of the school boards have voted to put this on the ballot. But we only need just over 50% to pass this. So if it passes, all the schools in the entire Wayne County benefit from this millage proposal. So we only need just over 50%. We are the 3rd largest recipient, but we also are the 3rd largest voting base. So your vote does count. I am just a parent, as I said, and you all are parents and involved. I need you to spread the word. So as leaders of your schools, as leaders of your community, that's why you all are here today. I am requiring, begging, really asking you to spread the word. If you can spread this to 10 people in your community and they can spread it, you can imagine how this grassroots effort will catch on. So I don't know if there's any I have a couple quick housekeeping things, but if there are any quick questions.
So the one thing I'd emphasize is it's not just the people in your community, it's the people in Northville and Livonia, and all throughout Wayne County that need to vote yes for this, because it's the cumulative effect of 50% that have to vote for this.
What you will hear is that Wayne County, or that Plymouth Canton will donate, contribute, depending on your school of thought on how you want to fund public education. I prefer to say contribute. Plymouth Canton will contribute $10.5 million to the Wayne County pot. We will only see back 6.7. So that is not ideal. But again, it is the only way. So you will hear people, there was a big article released today in the Free Press, which I think was very well written. If you read it, there are some naysayers. Northville, as I said earlier, they see, if we were funded like Northville, we would see $14 million more than Northville does. So Northville's drive to pass this millage is very different than our drive to pass this millage. So when you read these naysayers and you read these articles in the community that will be happening over the next few weeks, keep in mind that every district has their own story. And Plymouth Canton's is very unique and a little scary the closer I get to it. So people will say no because they want to receive all the money that they donate. It's against the law, and this is the only option in town. Okay, Sheila.
I just wanted to say a couple things. So the last time this was on the ballot was in August 2014. 70% of the voters in our community were over 50. Parents didn't vote. We have the biggest, we get the biggest benefit from this. Our kids are here right now. So please, please, please vote. The last time we did a bond, which was in 2013, we turned that around. We actually got parents out to the polls. Usually it's more seniors that are voting. When we did the bond last time, because we made the push, and I know Corrin and her team is really making the push with PTOs, we need to get parents to vote because we have the most at stake here. Our kids are feeling this. The other thing is this. Sorry, get a little worked up. Detroit has new leadership in their schools right now. We can't continue to fail those kids too. Over 50% of those kids are in poverty. We need to do something about that.
Yeah.
I want to add to what Sheila said, and I completely agree about helping the kids of Detroit. Detroit School District went from 125,000 kids to 50,000 kids. They lost 70,000 kids, and that is, they get the per pupil allowance like us. So their budget, their school district, and that's part of the reason they had so much trouble. They are restructured, they're starting again. I want to help them as well, so our district does that. The other thing is the adequacy study that was done in this state. Adequacy said minimum cost to educate per child is $8,600. We're $1,100 below adequate. Below adequate. That's not excellent. The national average is $10,500 per student. We're $3,000 below the national average. We used to be a top 10 state. We're in the bottom 12 now for funding. And so the choice in this RESA is $6.7 million or nothing.
The best comparison I heard at a recent forum was if you were stranded on an island and a helicopter came up over and let's say there are 20 of you on the island. Helicopter came up over and had an entire shipment of food. And you said, well, you know what? I don't want to share any of my food with the 20 people on the island with me, so I don't want any food at all. Or you can have a little bit of food and feed everyone. And I think what strengthens that argument is that this is the only game in town. Truly, by the law, this is all we can do. So now that I've said my spiel, how can you help? I have a couple of different ways. If you have not liked or joined the Facebook page, please write it down. Please share with people. Vote yes to support PCCS is the parent-run Facebook site. On that site is tremendous information. I have become fluid in speaking about this because I have lived and breathed this for years, going to board meetings and trying to understand it has taken me a very long time to understand the nitty-gritty. It is not an easy thing to understand. So on that site is a great presentation that will take you from 1993 to today in somewhat layman's terms about why we are where we are. Share that information with your constituents, share it with your PTOs, share it on your sites, get the word out. The other way that you can help me is RESA is trying to be very conservative and very smart in how they leverage this millage. So they originally were not doing lawn signs. What we heard from all the staff and PTO meetings over and over and over again is, hey, where are our signs? Our community does very well with signs. So I went to bat with RESA and forked out some dough, and we have signs. We have 500 signs. I just picked them up from the Detroit printer yesterday, and I have 200 in my car to give to all of you. So what I would ask of you, please, is because, again, I am a parent just like you. Please commit to taking 10 signs today. If you'd like more, I certainly can give you more. I'd encourage you to get 6 out to people in the neighborhoods and pick 4 corners in your local community where you think the signs will make a difference. You might have to ask the permission of business owners. If it's an area where there are a ton of political signs already, it's probably okay. They cannot go on Plymouth Canton school grounds. So if you guys do not have the signs here, they are in my car. The schools cannot tell people how to vote. So that is an important thing that I don't want us to break the law and to get our district in trouble. You can distribute them as you'd like, but they cannot be at your school.
So you can't take them to the school to pass out to other parents then?
I'm sure you will find a creative way to pass out the signs.
Okay, okay. And the other thing I wanted to say, I actually wanted to give you a compliment because I've been reading posts and I've seen some people who are totally against it. And I have to say, the way that you've responded has been so, you've kept it calm, you've responded to their negativity. It hasn't gotten nasty at all. And I've really, yes, it's very professional.
Thank you. When I considered taking this, my husband and I had a little debate. And he said, you know, are you sure that this is what you want to take on? There are going to be people against this. And as I dissected all the different perspectives, the no's, the yeses, and everywhere in between, I don't think that there is a person that can convince me that this is not the right thing for our community. It is not a perfect proposal. It is the only proposal. And it is really so important that people understand that, and they don't. There are people that still think our property taxes go to our schools, and they don't. So thank you very much. I've been working pretty hard, so thank you. So the signs are in my car. So I will, before the meeting ends, I will pull my car up right out front. If you come out this entrance that is at the base of the stairs, I will give you your signs. Please get them out and about.
So just real quick though, in Canton, they're like crazy militant about where you put signs. They cannot go between the sidewalk and the street, okay? They will come and get them, and then they'll start finding us if they get too many of them. They're really crazy militant about where you put signs in Canton. So just be really.
So the other side.
The other side of the sidewalk, on your property side of the sidewalk, they will come and get them, and then after they get too many, then they will find you.
Corrin, I know that you funded the money for these signs, but do you still need donations to support this?
I do. So what I also would, again, the district cannot fund these signs. They say vote yes. This was personally funded by me. So if your PTOs would be interested, where parents have donated money, if you think your community organizations would be interested, if you personally would be interested, I can give you a PayPal address. The checks would be made out to me since I purchased the signs, and I would take any help that I could get. So thank you.
Do you have that already, the PayPal address?
I do. Do you want me to give it to you now?
Yes, sir.
It's C is my first initial, and my crazy last name, which is Stamatakos, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, A, M as in Mary, A, T as in Tom, A, K-O-S. Can't tell I've done that my whole life. Stamatakos at hotmail.com. That would be my PayPal address.
How much did you have to?
The signs were $2,300.
Okay.
I have raised about $1,300 in donations so far. I'm confident I'm going to make that money back, but any help that you can provide would be very much appreciated.
Thank you for taking it.
Yeah. Thank you, Corrin. If we can all just, because I know that there's like a short time left, and some of our PTOs have sat through the presentation, which you guys, I just came from Sister's PTO, and they were so happy that you guys could come last time. I kind of just hammered like 3 points, like saying, because you're kind of preaching to the choir at your PTO, but it's like, okay, here's 3 points. And one of the things I wanted to make sure that they know, it's your, the assessed taxable value of your house. So if you have, a $250,000, $300,000 house, it's not $8 for every $100,000 of that you paid for it. It's the assessment. The assessment, like we were looking at ours, in some cases can be about 50% of what you paid for your home. So it's $8 per 100,000 of that assessed value. And I mean, that, a lot of people were interested.
What main reason what the district was trying to do is to make it very tangible, to make people understand what this tax increase would mean. So they gave the example of $8 per $100,000 value of your home. The taxable value of your home is very different than the true value of your home, what you would sell it for. So if you've lived in your home for a long time, your taxable value is probably lower than your actual value. So you would take, if you lived, let's say, in a $320,000 house and you've been there for a number of years, your taxable value might be $150,000. So you take that taxable value times 2 mils, which is 0.002, and that would tell you how your taxes would increase. We found on average according to the average home costs in Plymouth and Canton, your increase in taxes will be about $200 if you took the average of our community homes, give or take, certainly.
I know you mentioned that you've been to many PTO meetings already. I've been to a few, and no surprise to us, they're not always well attended. You could go to a meeting at a different school. It doesn't have to be at your school. At Gallimore, it's coming up November 1st, 6:30. Yeah. It will be the first part of the meeting. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. But if you want to hear a full presentation with more details, or you know somebody who might, they are welcome to join us at Gallimore that night.
Excellent. Any other questions? I'm a pretty straight shooter. If there is something that is bugging you or you've heard in the community that we can talk about, feel free to ask. All right, thank you so much for your time, and I will stalk you as you leave. I have 250 signs in my car. Please consider taking at least 10.
Where is your car?
I will pull it right at the bottom of the stairs. As soon as you walk out, that will be me and my awesome Honda Odyssey.
Thank you, Corrin. Thank you for everything you've done for this. Monica says she is on her way, but I wondered, since we have Dr. Hughes with us, if he had any district updates that he wanted to share, or any current news events?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Andrea, I think you already mentioned the next project is the school starting times. Thank you for that. Other than that, no, it's nothing more on the burner.
Okay. How many members are you, or how many people do you need for the school starting time committee? Or
the committee is probably maximum 12. Okay. As I think maybe all of you know, there is a small group of parents that have been petitioning the board to study the starting times of our schools, with emphasis mainly on the fact that they believe that our high school kids are starting too early, that they don't get enough sleep, and it all comes out in first and second hour classes where they're not fully with it. Anyway, they petitioned for us to form a committee, and Monica has asked me to handle that. So about 12 people. We certainly have the transportation director on there. That's important. We have the student services director who has to monitor whether we get in the required days and numbers of hours of instruction. We have an athletic director on that because any change will affect athletics and student activities. We have an elementary, middle, and high school principal, a couple of teachers who are also parents. But I was looking for a couple of parents to round out the committee, one at the high school level, preferably, and one at the middle school level. I do have a couple of, the teachers that have volunteered are elementary parents themselves, so we got that covered. But our first meeting is November 9th, the day after the election, and I'm hoping that we will wrap up our work by the beginning of the second semester, which is around January 25. And that's not an arbitrary date, because if any recommendation came forward to the board, they would need to have this at least by then if any changes were to be made for the coming school year. So there's just a short period of time where we hope to do a lot of work and then submit our recommendation to the superintendent, and she to the board. So that's where we are.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hughes. We appreciate that. And again, Dr. Hughes' email, if you're interested, is on the agenda. It's up at the top under new business. And I'm happy to present Monica Merritt, our superintendent.
So thank you.
Thank you for coming. I know you were busy.
Yes, I was at a week recent superintendent's meeting, so I was trying not to get a ticket as I got here. Because I wanted to make sure I had the opportunity to meet with you face to face today. I did not have that opportunity last month. So it is definitely so refreshing to see all these faces in the audience. When we talk about our PCCS village, our parents are such an important part of this village and your commitment to our schools and our district. It's just, we wouldn't be where we are without you. I am happy to report with our enrollment. I know as we've been looking over the years, we're really projected to decline in enrollment about 400 students for the last few years, and the projection was up to 5 years. We have met our enrollment numbers and recognize once again that these are unaudited numbers. We had our count day, so we will have to wait for the final count. But beyond where we budgeted for flat enrollment, currently our numbers are greater than our flat enrollment. So I really am encouraged by that, meaning that we have stopped the bleed, and now it's our time to turn that around and start really marketing our school district. Because all of you in here, you know why we are Plymouth Canton. I continue to say wherever I go, why PCCS, there's no district greater. I choose this district for my own kids. There's such an incredible opportunity for educational experiences here for all of our students. We just have to continue to get that word out. And I think that we are doing a good job with that. I applaud our community group, the Blue Ribbon Panel. I think that you heard on our last meeting, we were looking for many of you to be a part of this parent ambassador program. So I earn a paycheck from the district. Even though I'm a parent, everybody may not believe when I say how great we are, but our parents truly are our best ambassadors. So looking at this Blue Ribbon Panel to say, if we have new people coming into the district, will you be willing to share the good news about your school or with concerns, helping them to navigate through that system? So we've done a really nice job getting that started, always looking for additional parent ambassadors. So if that's something that may appeal to you, then please let us pass your name on to us. It's an incredible opportunity, once again, to just stay connected and continue to give the good news about our school district. It's so important. Talking about good news, I think that you have heard Dotson Elementary just was recognized by a national Blue Ribbon school. That is amazing. That is our first. I have to tell you, that is not by chance. Our staff works so incredibly hard with our students, not just at Dotson, but all of our schools. So Dotson did take that effort to complete that application. I think that that might be now some competition for our other schools to say, hey, we're doing great things as well. To get that national recognition is amazing. So I have the opportunity to go with Dr. Quasarano and some of her staff representatives to Washington, D.C. to receive that national honor. And we will wear that plaque proudly in Plymouth Canton schools. And like I said, continue that competition so all of our schools that are doing amazing things have the opportunity to be recognized, not just here in PCCS, but nationally. And speaking of that, just looking at our board. I see some of our board members here. This is great. We're working so hard to just change the culture of our district, the perception. So even within our board meetings, we're now trying to be really aware that our school improvement plans and the things that are happening in our schools on a daily basis really need that recognition. So we're working to bring our schools. We started with Dotson at the last board meeting and just giving them an opportunity at the board meetings to highlight their school improvement plans. And give them an opportunity to share with all the wonderful things that they're doing with your students on a daily basis. So that's something new that you can expect at each of our board meetings, to just give you an opportunity to get a window into what your kids see and do each day. So I'm trying to think the dynamic plan, big picture. We're also just working as we've stabilized. Enrollment is a great thing. Certain things that were concerns for our community last year, transportation, custodial. We worked hard this summer to try to put processes in place, some accountability to just make sure that our schools and our services reflected the high expectations of our community. And I am definitely proud to say that transportation started off so much better than we ended last year and continues to be smooth. We have hiccups, of course, as any system would, but we're on top of that. The communication has improved. Custodial, we worked hard to establish the baseline for clean. Still working at it. The biggest piece now is trying to sustain that goal of clean, but just giving that environment for our students that they deserve in order to achieve, and they do a remarkable job at achieving. Your voices are so important in terms of the sustainability, to be connected and let us know this continual feedback in terms of how we're doing, because we only want to get better and we can only improve when we're working together. So as we look now to stabilize those initial concerns, we're planning for the future. What is our target? What will we look like 3 to 4 years from now? And that's our dynamic plan. This is a process that we've gone through over the years with our community. We're working now to update that dynamic plan with input from our staff. We look at this community survey that we've had, and what I believe you've heard is we didn't ask you to do this survey just to do a survey. We want to make sure that we are using your input to inform our instructions and our directions. So that's what you will see in our dynamic plan. What have you said that you need? What is important for you as a community, and how can we support that within our schools? Strong schools will equal a strong community. So with that, we're working on getting that finalized. We'll have a board presentation at a workshop of the dynamic plan, and then that's something that will be communicated out to our families. So you can see not only are we doing right now, but to how we're doing and what we're doing, but what you can project as we're moving forward. PCCS, we have been through a lot, but we're better for it. And I think that we have exciting times ahead. So thank you for your participation in this meeting today, Jeremy.
There's another piece of good news, and I'm not sure that we've got the information to you yet. Do you mind if I mention it?
I love it.
Okay. We were notified by the state that Erickson and Bentley elementary schools qualified for a Distinguished School Award from the state of Michigan. And I may have this mixed up. One of them for outstanding success in teaching English to English learners, and the other one for outstanding success in closing the achievement gap between various subgroups of kids within the school. So it's not an automatic thing like the blue ribbon thing. They've got to fill out some forms to show how they got there, and we are helping them with that. It's kind of a quick turnaround, but we're very proud of those schools as well. And I think once the awards do arrive, we will be having a little similar celebration. I just thought, since everyone's here, this is a good thing to share.
Absolutely.
And by the way, you said you were speeding to get here?
I tried not to speed, is what I said, Dr.
Let me tell you, just file this away. Wayne RESA is in the city of Wayne. Most people leave that and either get on 275 or take Michigan out. My son is a police officer. It's not. If it says Hughes, say, oh, I know your name.
Are you okay with taking any questions from parents today?
I have two things. I'm from Smith. First of all, our third graders were so excited to come here. Thank you so much. I mean, that was huge to open your doors to the third graders. They felt extremely important. They talk about Miss Monica. Did you know this? She's like, all right.
They made like 60 of them. Got into my office. They all fit in. They had amazing questions.
And we can send her information if we want. So they feel very important. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then also thank you for the PCC support and some people coming out in the last week due to a situation.
Yes.
I mean, that's very, very important. So thank you very much.
Absolutely appreciate that. And that's an example of that continuous feedback. Get that information to us and we will be
responsive. And that was very quick too. So
absolutely. Thank you for that. Yes.
I have a question or inquiry about the use of MyStar. And is there, I don't believe there is anywhere a written policy in place. My concern is, and it has happened, I have a student who's graduated. There are some staff that are wonderful getting grades in, but there is some staff who do not put in grades until it's almost the end of a quarter. I've brought it up at different levels. I've always heard is within a reasonable time. What is a reasonable time? That is so vague, and I wish, and I don't know who to go to, whether it's the administration, school board, or who, that something can be put down that teachers have to follow. I understand English paper is going to take longer, but when a teacher is just a regular course, not reading papers, to take a quarter and then get it in there. You don't know if your child's doing poorly, if they missed work, they have no chance to turn it in then. I just wish there was something, because this has been, I have one who's been here 14 years, and it's always an issue. Like I said, a majority of teachers do well, but there's some that won't. I can email the teachers, and I hate always emailing. So I don't know who to address it to, so I wanted to bring it up.
We don't have a policy in place. We do have guidelines that we share with our staff to suggest what is a good timeline to get information within the MyStarts setting. I would say to start with, if you started with the teacher specifically, then the next level would be to go to the building administrator, and they can do some encouragement on that individual teacher in terms of making sure that that is uploaded. On our website also is a parent concern protocol that you can find. So in the event, it really kind of goes to the chain. If you're talking, we encourage at building level to try to talk directly to the teacher, then the building level administrator. We now, through the new structure, have a director of elementary and a director of secondary education. So if you're not finding your concerns met at the building level, you can then go to either director, and then that would just go up then to the chief academic officer and me.
Okay, so, but there won't be anything that is just like a general.
So we do, yeah, we do have guidelines. We encourage that that teachers get that information in a timely manner. To your point, there could be an English teacher with papers that takes longer than a teacher, maybe a math teacher that is able to just check off. But that is something that we can on our end also just reiterate at our principals meetings, just to get that information out so that they can communicate to the staff as well. And as you said, if it is majority are doing it, but it could be individuals not, it would be best to kind of try to handle that with the teacher and the building principal. So we can do a reminder as well.
Because as a parent, I have emailed teachers and I'll phrase them, I want to make sure my child turned it in. He said he did, because you don't want to be. Yes, but, and I've talked to principals. So, how many times I don't want to be a pest to the principal or the teacher.
I've read all these about high school, and this makes me scared, but it also turns around. Yes. If you're putting the responsibility on our students to have their work in on a deadline, and you then also come down on parents to have things in by a deadline, why are you not held to the same accountability? Because it's just not right. What makes the teacher not have to be able to hold up to a deadline? And I'm telling you, at the elementary level too, I cannot believe how many times oh, this wasn't in and you're not being held to a deadline. But then when the same thing is asked of you, you're not setting the right example. You need to follow, you cannot say one thing and do another thing. And my kids are in elementary, and by the time they get to the high school, if that comes down, that is just unbelievable. They can set this level for the students, but they put themselves down at this level.
Definitely great feedback, and as I said, from our level, I'll address it with our administrators so that they can do the reminders back at the building level, and definitely still encourage you to go through that process of trying to deal with it. And by all means, that's not being a pest, that's an advocate for your child, and that's what we're here for. And so continue to work at that level and utilize the supports that are in place so we can get that resolved.
Any other questions for Monica today?
Are you gonna have another coffee with Monica?
Yes.
I love that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So we're looking at trying to get them every couple of months. Last time we had it at the Plymouth Library, so our next, we're gonna go to Canton, and we're trying to secure the location and then look at doing an evening. So we wanna try to do mornings, evenings, and I enjoyed that as well. We said originally quarterly, but once we get these presentations, we've been everywhere with the enhancement village, we may even try to do that a little bit more frequently, because it just gives opportunities to just engage face-to-face in a small setting, which is amazing.
That's one of the things that's making this big school district seem smaller. When I came to my first meeting here, I think we were talking about what can we do, and on the Blue Ribbon panel, what can we do to make parents feel like this is a good, my kids know who you are. They're in first grade and fourth grade, and for suddenly they both know who you are. They saw you at the spring fun fair. That's great. I just think that makes it seem like a smaller.
I strategically avoided the pie throwing table.
You were still there. Yeah,
I think that's what I feel like that's how our whole community is. So although we're so large, we still maintain this small small community feel. And I think that we need to continue to replicate that in our school systems to stay connected.
I feel like it has gotten smaller feeling in the last couple of years. So it's a compliment to you and everybody else.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anything else? Well, Monica, we, as always, appreciate, and I appreciate you rushing, and now that we have an in with Officer Hughes. Take that out of the minutes, please.
I got the whole district will be like.
Well, we appreciate your accessibility, that more than anything, so thank you for your time. Okay, and I just, one more reminder about our next meeting on Wednesday, November 16th, the Tour of Liberty with the principal, James Hunter, and the lunch at the Rock Cafe. It has 20 slots there. I have room for more than 20 people. We'd love to have as many people as possible come out, especially at the Rock Cafe, to see all the wonderful work the students do there. And I have the URL down there if you want to RSVP to the Sign Up Genius. Is there anything else?
Do you know what time the lunch is?
The lunch is, yes, it's at 9:40. The tour starts at 9:30 and lunch is at 10:45. So if you go into the Sign Up Genius, you'll see the time slots are separated. So you have to sign up for both if you're coming to both, or just one if you're coming to one.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Judy, a second?
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for your time today. Have a great weekend.
Corrin's down with the sign.
My parents, yeah, I was just in the third, and I'm like, where are our signs? I'm like, yeah.